I know what you're thinking. The last couple videos, they haven't been reviews. They've been top 10 lists, top 5 lists. You're probably wondering where are the reviews of the samples. Your favorite sample reviewer is back. And this time we're taking a look at Prada Luna Rossa Black, one of their newer releases from Prada. And what's good about this fragrance from Prada is I actually like this one in comparison to Prada L'Homme Absolu. I wasn't a huge fan. That one was pretty crappy. This one, on the other hand, this one is really good. Prada redeemed themselves, even though this one came out before Prada L'Homme Absolu, so they didn't technically redeem themselves. But in terms of me smelling this one and reviewing it after Prada L'Homme Absolu, they did redeem themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and review Prada Luna Rossa Black. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs, when you can wear it, and things like that. So if that sounds interesting, we're going to go and jump into the video. But before we jump into it, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I post. Also hit the like button. That way YouTube notifies you every time I upload. I'm doing 5 videos a week. You don't want to miss out on that. Got tons of videos coming. So with that out of the way, now let's get into the review. So Prada Luna Rossa Black, what I get right in the opening is tonka bean and amber. Those notes I really love, especially amber. I've been a huge fan of that note lately in fragrances. There's something about just how it smells, especially in the winter time. It's just a really, really nice fragrance note. And it is definitely prominent in this fragrance. The tonka bean gives it a nice powdery sweetness. The amber gives it like a little bit of a sticky sweetness. It's not too overly sticky or anything like that, but it does give it a nice, classy, warm, sweet smell. Again, the tonka bean's giving it a nice powderiness as well. And I really like how both of those notes fit together. One thing I also noticed pretty quickly on is patchouli. I picked up on that relatively quickly. I was expecting that it would come in more towards the dry down, but to my nose, when I sprayed it on and started smelling it, I started to pick up on the patchouli pretty quickly, and I'm a big fan of it. It gives it a little bit of a green and musky smell. It fits in there really well with the other supporting notes. There's also some musk as well, but like I said, the main notes here are the tonka and the amber. The patchouli and the musk are more in the background, whereas those two, like I said, they're kind of the star of the show. There's also angelica that starts to come in as we get into the dry down. That gives it a little bit of an herbal and green smell also, and that one I do enjoy. I don't really smell that note too often in fragrances, but in this one it works out really well. The dry down is nice, powdery, sweet. It smells really good from the opening to the dry down. It stays powdery and sweet throughout the whole thing. There really isn't too much like freshness to this. It's basically a powdery sweet fragrance all the way through. On me, the amber starts to come into play even more in the dry down. Like I said, the amber and the tonka bean were pretty much tied in the opening to me, but as you work into the dry down farther, I start to pick up more and more on the amber, and I'm a big fan of that because, like I said, I really like amber, so the fact that it gets more prominent as time goes on is something that I really like about this scent. So before we jump into when you can wear this, I just want to hop in here and say, if you haven't checked out my decanting course yet, go ahead and do that now. If you head on over to chaosfragrances.com or click the first link in the description, it'll take you right there. In that course, I go over everything you need to know to start decanting. So decanting, you can build up your collection of fragrances without having to pay out of pocket. You're using the fragrances that you already own and essentially using those to continue to buy more, and you basically keep the process going. So once you get started, it's something that you can continue to do as much as you want and just build a collection of whatever you desire. This is how I was able to build up my collection in the short amount of time that I did, and it's how a lot of people do it as well. Again, I put up a screenshot of the sales that I did in the first 3 months of doing this, so that just kind of gives you an idea of how successful this can be. So if you are kind of on the fence and you want to get started but you don't know how, definitely check it out. Again, head on over to chaosfragrances.com. A box will come up. You can enter your email address and you'll get an extra 20% off code that you can use to buy it. So it's already a steal at the price that it's at. But with that code, you're getting it for even cheaper, and you'll be able to make your money back within like the first sale or two that you do once you actually get started. So it'll be a great investment. It'll keep you from having to stumble around and make mistakes and lose money and mess up when you get started, because I outline everything for you, so you'll be able to get started right away quickly and easily. But with that being said, let's go and jump back into the review. When can you wear Prada Luna Rossa Black? I see this as a nice evening scent, a nice date scent. It's something that's very warm, it's very seductive, it's very cozy smelling, so definitely a fall and winter scent, as you can tell by the notes and things like that. but also, like I said, more of an evening scent as well. If you have a date or if you have a dinner out or something like that, this would be perfect for that because it is sweet, it's cozy. That amber gives it a little bit of like an upscale smell. Tonka bean again gives it a nice powdery sweetness. Overall, just a really nice mixture of notes that could do really well for pretty much any sort of situation like that in the evenings in the fall and winter. So touching on performance, this stuff performs pretty solid on my skin. Longevity, I get about 8 hours or so on my skin, which is definitely really solid. That's about all I look for, 7 to 8 hours. So being at about 8 hours, that works perfectly for me. Projection wise, it is a little bit soft, and that is pretty much what I was expecting anyway. It is a very soft and powdery scent. And while most people would, hate that or, trash on and say that the projection sucks, this is one of those scents, like I've said before, where I'm okay with the fact that it is a little bit soft and it sits closer to the skin. This is one of those scents where it's nice to be discovered. It's nice to pick it up on someone as they walk by or as they get closer to you. This isn't the type of scent that I really want to be pushing out, like a Versace Eros, for example. That scent pushes out and projects really well. This one's a little bit more subtle, it's a little bit more soft, but that type of performance fits this type of scent very, very well. So again, while some people are going to rag on the projection and say that's not very good, I'm personally okay with that. And the fact that it does perform good in terms of longevity kind of makes up for that anyway. So overall performance, I'm pretty happy with it, and it's definitely solid. So will this one be a compliment getter for you? It definitely will. Kind of goes back to what I was just talking about with performance. Projection isn't the best, so don't expect to put this on and to be getting a bunch of unsolicited compliments, left and right. It's not that the scent itself isn't going to be a good compliment getter. It's just in that type of situation, the performance, the projection anyway, is what's going to be holding it back. But in situations where you're getting closer to people, if you're kind of in a crowded environment or whatever the case may be, and people can actually smell it off you, then it's going to do really, really well. So don't think that's not going to be a good compliment getter. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, in terms of walking around and getting a crap ton of unsolicited compliments like you would with something like Sauvage or a Ventus or something with really, really strong performance, you're not going to have that same effect from this. And again, it's nothing to do with the scent of it because it smells great. It's going to be a good compliment getter. It's just the projection that holds it back. And that is kind of an issue that a lot of people don't take into consideration. They say, oh, this fragrance doesn't get me any compliments. It's not necessarily the scent's fault. It's just the fact that it doesn't project very good. And of course, there's a whole bunch of other reasons why you may not be getting compliments, which I actually did a separate video on you can check out. But what I'm trying to say here is, in the right situations, it'll pull compliments really good. But in terms of just, walking around, walking in the streets or something like that, probably not going to do the best unless you just really load down on it and go with a bunch of sprays. So talking about price really quickly here, I haven't really seen this one discounted all too much. I did see like a 50 ml bottle on FragranceNet for like $50, which is kind of steep for a 50 ml. That would be putting a 100 ml bottle at like $100 going off of that type of math. So definitely not the best price there. I think I've seen it for around $70 for 100 ml in some places, so that's better. But really, I haven't seen it discounted all that much. I haven't really looked on eBay, but you may be able to pick up some bottles there. So that's definitely one place you can try. But overall, pricing will be pretty solid. Again, Prada fragrances usually are going to be a little bit more on the pricey side. It's not a bad thing. This is very high quality. I really like the scent of it. I think it would be worth $70 for 100 ml any day. Now, should you blind buy this one? I would say no. I would probably grab a sample of it. This isn't going to be for everyone. Again, it's very sweet. It's powdery. If you're someone who likes scents like that, then I would say you could maybe blind buy it if you are pretty confident that you're going to like it. If you like amber, if you like tonka bean, I don't see why you wouldn't like this one. But for people out there who maybe are new at fragrances and you're not really sure exactly what you like, I would just grab a sample of it. I'll have a link down below where you can get a sample of it if you would like. But that's probably the route I would go, just so you don't end up, regretting your purchase, especially because the fact that it's not necessarily the cheapest fragrance out there, right? In terms of designers, it is on the higher end of pricing. So guys, there you go. That's my review on Prada Luna Rossa Black. Again, I'm a huge fan of this fragrance, and it's nice because, like I said, the last Prada I reviewed, I didn't really like. A few people got upset that I didn't like it that much, and that's okay. I wasn't trashing on it. I wasn't trashing on the brand. It's releases like this that impress me, and that you can tell that this is polished and they did a good job, and it just overall smells really good. And this is what I think Prada is definitely capable of doing, and they should try to do more stuff like this instead of like Prada L'Homme Absolute, where I feel like they just kind of threw it out there just because they didn't really put any thought into it. So again, that's Prada Luna Rossa Black. Really well done here. Awesome stuff. I will probably pick up a bottle at some point if I ever find a good deal on it. It's definitely not the highest on my list, just because I got a lot of other stuff that I want to buy as well. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I post. And of course, check out the decanting guide, chaosfragrances.com, or the first link in the description. If you're on the fence and you want to get started, check it out. It's going to be a great investment and it'll get you started right away. And that's it for me, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.